12 of the best fragrances from the best Middle Eastern fragrance brands. You know, nowadays we just have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to inexpensive, awesome fragrances. I mean, it's overwhelming when you start to dig around online and pick out a few affordable scents that are good, that are gonna add up to about the same price as one new designer release. So what I decided to do in this video is take the, I think, 6 top Middle Eastern brands. There's others that I certainly could have included in here, but 6 of the very best, and I tried to pick 2 of the very best fragrances from each of them. I've got a wide range of some that are fresh, some that are right in the middle for kind of spring and fall, and then some that are more dark, sweet, spicy for the fall and the winter. We're gonna dive in. Before we do, remember to subscribe to the channel and give your very best. Click to the like button if you like the video. Let's get into it. First, we will start with one of my favorite clone houses, Middle Eastern brands, Fragrance World. They do so many different amazing DNAs. They've even got different brands. They've got Athor Al Alam, Fragrance World, French Avenue, Maison des Parfums. This is from French Avenue. This is Royal Blend Vintage. And this is actually a by Kilian's Pure Malt dupe. It is basically a whiskey and plum fragrance with a wheat note, with a Divana note, and it just smells fantastic. This is a sweet fragrance and it is a boozy fragrance. This is one that in the first 15 or 20 minutes literally smells like you doused yourself with a shot of whiskey and kind of some sweetness. That does wear off pretty soon though, and you're just left with this wonderful, glowing, warm, very unique scent profile. I love this stuff. I've got a bunch of different versions of single malt and even old fashioned from Kilian, which also smells very similar. So anyway, this is Royal Blend Vintage. You might want to check it out. And next from Fragrance World, this is just the standard Fragrance World brand, not any of kind of their higher tier houses, but this fragrance is top tier. It is awesome. This is an alternative to Parfums de Marly Wajan. This is Fragrance World Legion. This is still to date my most cinnamon forward fragrance. I love the note of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, period. I eat cereal with like a 1/4 inch of cinnamon poured on top. I love cinnamon, and this is basically cinnamon with some sweetness, with some fruitiness. I think there's some apple and there's some citrus, and then there is a base of sort of some woodiness, giving it a little more weight. But if you want the perfect fall and winter sweet and spicy fragrance, I don't think you can beat this for an alternative to Wajan. Where are all the other clones to Wajan, by the way? It's one of Parfums de Marly's best, and this is one of Fragrance World's best, Legion. All right, next we'll go to the House of Paris Corner, and most of these houses I have, you know, in some cases 40 fragrances from the brand, so it was hard to pick some, so I tried to go with things in some cases that are newer, and of course things that are very good. And from Paris Corner, this is one I picked because not a lot of people have talked about this one, and it is fantastic. This is Kahila Luxe, and this is an alternative to K. Ali Invite Only, and it's an awesome cherry tobacco fragrance. That's really all that you need to know, although I will tell you there is an element of this fragrance and even the K. Ali fragrance that will remind you of Wajan. So if you took cherry tobacco and mixed it with Parfums de Marly Wajan, you're gonna come up with this right here. It is awesome. It's one of my favorite scents this past winter, and it's actually very affordable. Kahila Luxe. And switching it up quite a bit, this is one that's definitely much more focused on summer, you know, spring, but hot weather, even beachy vacation kind of vibes. This is Coconut Lagoon from Paris Corner, and it is a phenomenal coconut fragrance. It's going to remind you a little bit of Creed Virgin Island Water, but it's not a boozy fragrance, but it still has that sweet coconut lime. There's also a very distinct ozonic quality, kind of lightening it up a little bit, I think coming from violet leaf. So really good if you like coconut and you like something a little bit sweeter in the hot weather. Not everybody does like sweeter fragrances, but this stuff is so good. Coconut Lagoon by Paris Corner. All right, next we're gonna look at the House of Armaf. And with this house, and really with all of them, it was hard to pick only two, and everybody will have their own picks, but here's the ones that I chose. First of all, this is, to me, one of my favorite fragrances, one of the best clones ever made, not even because it's so close to the original, but it's just so good. This is kind of a must-own at this point. This is Précieux 1. It's an alternative to Creed Aventus Absolute or Absolute Aventus, but it is a twist on Absolute Aventus that I actually like more than the original. They took that wonderful aromatic, fruity, woody fragrance and they sweetened it up with some pear and some caramel. This stuff is amazing. It is a beast. It's an Extrait de Parfum. 3 or 4 sprays will last you 12 hours. It is awesome. The price has actually come down quite a bit nowadays. If you can get this for anywhere around $50, I would highly recommend, if you're looking for another fragrance, you want to pick this one up. It is just that good. Précieux 1, Club de Nuit Précieux 1. And next up, another Club de Nuit fragrance and another alternative to a Creed. I think that Armaf's dupes of Creed fragrances are kind of their best fragrances and the best Creed dupes. I still think this one is amazing. I'm talking about Club de Nuit Milestone. It's an alternative to Millésime Imperial, and Millésime Imperial is this salted fruits ambergris fragrance. And Armaf does an ambroxan-like chemical, maybe it's Amber Max or something like that. Their version of that scent does a really good job of mimicking Creed's ambergris. I assume Creed uses the real thing, but you mix that with some wonderful summer fruits and a salty accord that is distinct. You can actually identify it as kind of a salt note. It is awesome. I mean, if you've never tried the DNA, if you can get a good price on this, I think it would be highly unlikely that you wouldn't like it. I love it. It is, again, milestone. And next, the House of Lattafa. How many options did I have for this house? A bunch. Let me just say that. But I do think these two are two of the very best without question. This one is Lattafa The Kingdom. It's an alternative to Jean-Paul Gaultier La Male Elixir. And this is a twist on the original La Male DNA, but specifically they added some tobacco, they added some honey to that already gorgeous vanilla, lavender, mint profile. The vanilla mint in this is maybe a little more dominant than it is in the original, but I love it. It is an incredible fragrance, very high quality, extremely long lasting. Again, Lattafa The Kingdom. And this next one is actually an alternative to a fragrance that I've never smelled the original, so I can't compare it to the original, but on its own merits, this stuff is awesome. This is Lattafa Pride Artisan Ethnique, and this is a spicy, aromatic, vanilla, I think it's creme brulee, warm, spicy fragrance. In this one, you've got notes of rum and cinnamon and sugar, caramel, cacao, coffee, and oak moss. You've got vanilla, cashmere wood, tonka bean, and labdanum. Now, to hear that note breakdown, you might just think it's this overly sweet gourmand bomb, and it is sweet and it is gourmand, but something about that oak moss and that spiciness and even that labdanum, kind of a leathery-like note, it adds a depth and a complexity and a darkness to this fragrance that I think makes it absolutely appropriate for a man to wear and makes it smell like it's a way more expensive fragrance than the probably $45 you'll pay for this. Really good stuff, Artisan Ethnique. Next in line, we're going to go with the House of Dumont. Now, it's Dumont Paris, but they are actually manufactured in Dubai from what I understand. So they do qualify for this video. And this one it's so very good. I gave a bottle of this to a good friend of mine very recently. Every time I'm around he or his wife, they tell me how much they love this fragrance. I'm talking about Nitro White. And it's kind of like a aromatic vanilla twist on Nitro Red. It's still got a little bit of that Invictus vibe. It's got a little bit of that BR540 vibe, but there's like a sweet vanilla, geranium, spicy, fresh spicy twist on that DNA, and it just takes it from something that I like, which is kind of the Invictus BR540 DNA, to something that I absolutely love, because you're adding that vanilla, which is one of my favorite notes, and the spicy, you know, warm spicy and fresh spicy notes. It smells awesome. It's almost appropriate for every situation, any time of the year. Might be a little too sweet for, say, 90-degree plus weather, but man, this stuff is so very good. Nitro White, my favorite of the Nitro fragrances. And next up, in a video like this, I thought, you know, almost all of these brands make their version of Creed Aventus, so I probably should include a good dupe of Aventus, and this is one of the very best right here. This is Barouge Spiritus, and it is a phenomenal alternative to Creed Aventus. I would say that similar to Celerio Oros, another Dumont Aventus dupe, this one has just a touch of something that reminds me of Nishane Hasavat. I think it's maybe just a touch of patchouli, but it just sort of darkens the fragrance. It's not an overly smoky take on Aventus, but that dark patchouli does add something that is kind of akin to the dark smokiness of Aventus. So, you know, maybe it's 85% similar to a fruity batch of Aventus, but it is 100% awesome, and it's very powerful and long-lasting, very high quality Barouge Spiritus. Last of all, we're going to cover the house of Rasasi. Now, Rasasi is one of those that in the West, I don't think has gotten the same kind of shine that your Armaf, Fragrance World, Lattafa have gotten, but there's a couple lines that have become very well known, very beloved, and one of those, of course, is Hawass. And this one right here is Hawass Black, and it is an excellent alternative to Nishane Hasavat, which I just talked about. So this is a patchouli, green, fruity, sweet fragrance. There is a good bit of fruity sweetness in the opening coming from some sweet citrus. I heard someone recently say it has pineapple. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to look it up, but it smells like that kind of bright, sharp, sweet fruitiness. Well, what the heck? I looked it up, and it does have pineapple in the top. It's also got some bergamot and grapefruit. In the mid, you've got patchouli, which is a feature of this fragrance. You've got cedarwood, jasmine, oak moss, woods, and amber, and it comes together to be one of the very best, I would say, classy, clean smelling, and warm weather appropriate fragrance profiles that you can wear, period. It's a compliment getter. It's as versatile as anything you'll ever get, and it's very strong. Rasasi Hawass Black, very good stuff. And I thought, hey, since we're talking Rasasi, why not talk about another one of the Hawass fragrances? I've got several to choose from, but this one right here has become one of my favorite fragrances. It is a compliment magnet. I think every time I've worn it recently, I've gotten a compliment. It's very loud and it's sweet. It gets people's attention. So very good. I'm talking about Rasasi Hawass Fire. I believe that the fragrance notes for this on Fragrantica are wrong because it has a very weird note breakdown, but this is like an ambery, sweet, bright, fruity, somewhat spicy fragrance that actually is going to remind you a decent amount of Gisa Imperial Valley. There's a couple fragrances in this DNA that it gets compared to, and I think that's an accurate description, but it doesn't have the kind of funky animalic notes, the sort of, you know, overly musky notes that the Imperial Valley has. It's just a wonderful, bright, sweet, fruity, very happy, ambery fragrance. Love this stuff. Rasasi Hawass Fire. So that's been 2 fragrances from the top 6 Middle Eastern clone brands. And again, there's others I could have put in here, Swiss Arabian and a bunch of others I could mention. But what do you think? What are some of your favorite houses and your favorite fragrances from them? Let me know down below. Remember also to leave your favorite, click on the like button if you like the video, and subscribe. I'm Justin, this is Sillage Scents.